All right. Hello, everybody. I know it's been a while. I got sidetracked, is my best excuse. But I'm back. I'm finally here with the first episode of Let's Talk. I understand this is something that I started a while ago and never got into because I'll be honest, I really had no idea what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to talk about random topics, but it's kind of hard to do so when, like, you know, you're not the greatest speaker. Sure, I can go off on tangents with my friends easily, but talking to myself makes it a lot harder. So I'm gonna be playing the gameplay for you. This is World of Warcraft's latest expansion, just to have my mind going on something. So I hope that's okay with all of you. I mean, I know World of Warcraft might be an old game, but it's still good. So like I said, it's the new expansion. I felt like playing it, so I hope you guys enjoy. So, what is today's topic? Well, today's topic is actually something that has come up recently in many different forms for me. The topic is, in general, I'd say friendships and relationships. So, two completely different things, but still the same side of the coin, right? Friendships and relationships. Just a broad sense of it. So, what to talk about? I mean, to me, I've always had, like, say, a very tightly knit friend group, right? I've had moments where, like, I feel like I can easily connect with a bunch of people that, like, you know, maybe we just met and I start talking to them about my interest, they talk to me about their interest, and then the conversation goes really well, and then, you know, keep going and going and going until eventually you know, you guys become really good friends together. And for me, that's kind of come like naturally nowadays, you know, like with the advent of online friendships and such, right? It's become a lot easier to make friends, I'd say, even if many people say that online friends may be dangerous. I choose to believe that it is I choose to believe that online friends are just as good as real friends, because, you know, you guys have like maybe the same interests. You guys may talk more often sometimes than your real life friends, you know. It's just something that happens. But yeah, so I've made a lot of online friends in my lifetime, and honestly, it's been good for sure, because, you know, when it comes to like friends, I often say to like people, it's like, you know, the best thing about having friends is just the fact that you have somebody that you can possibly relate to, or you can interact with in such a way where, like, you start to like trust them and develop like a very close bond with, to the point that you might start sharing things that you normally wouldn't share with other people. Maybe sometimes you wouldn't even share with like your own parents or your family, right? So friends honestly come from like different walks of life, different ways of how they carry themselves. I think I just said the same thing. Can you tell none of these are scripted? Fantastic. Honestly, having such a variety to choose from for friends, it's like, it really is like something special that I think like humanity is able to achieve, where, like, you know, two people from completely different walks of life can absolutely form a bond with each other that, you know, can last like a lifetime. You know, in my life, I have several friends who I can with confidence say that I'm sure I'll be knowing about in the future for the rest of my life, you know, and I don't think that's ever going to change. It can get a little tedious, or not tedious, what would be the right word? I'm not sure. I guess daunting, I suppose, when you have too many friends, because, you know, for me, I've always been the kind of person that's like very much constantly offering my aid or advice to people. And, you know, it kind of leaves like very little room sometimes for me to think about myself. I actually had this conversation with a couple of my friends recently, and luckily they understood. But, you know, friendships, the best thing about it is like, you know, it's never been about like, when you give something, you should expect something in return. I don't think that's ever how any sort of friendship should ever go, because it's like you guys can have two completely different ways of life. Like, not ways of life. What am I saying? You guys can have two completely different outlooks on a certain problem that you're sharing, right? Like, say you're helping a friend through like, I don't know, some problems with their family, and they're like, oh, my family is my lifeline, I need to trust them. But then you realize that their family is being like rather like abusive in your eyes, right? So you can have like different opinions on such a topic, and sometimes it may come to the fact that your friend can't listen to you because it's like, well, they have to figure these things out on their own. But see, that's kind of the joy of friends, because it's like you may share your problems and it may be saddening, but that type of sharing shouldn't affect your mental, you know, because you as a friend have that special trait that you being there allows this person to vent out their frustrations for maybe a few seconds, right? Or however much they need. And you're there to help like let them vent out these frustrations. And thus, like, after a while, they start to calm down, and then they feel better. And then you realize you've done what you should have been doing for your friends. It's like you're there for them and you're caring for them, you know? And that's really something special, because to me, it's always been like really annoying that like whenever I form like new friends, but then they come in and then they're around for like a bit, only for them to disappear after they've gotten what they need. You understand? It's some serious things, and it can really affect you as a person when you have somebody just basically using you as a way to like make themselves feel better. And then once it's over, then, well, you know, why bother being friends with you anymore? And then such a thing happens where it's like, well, I spent all that time being such a good friend to you, and you toss that all away, right? So it can be a little saddening for sure that such things could happen. But all in all, I think what should happen is you have to understand that these people just weren't your friends to begin with, you know? Because a friend will never ask you for something and be like, okay, thanks, bye, right? That's not a friend. That's like, that, I don't know how it would follow, but they're basically treating you like a pawn, right? Like just using you, which should never be the case ever. So for you to have someone like that in your life, I urge you immediately to either talk to them or to drop them, because it's completely unfair to you as a person, in my opinion, that you have to go through with something like that. Because I'll be honest to myself, even like I've definitely had friends before, well, you know, quote unquote friends, that like by the end of it all really just had to use me in the end, you know? And this doesn't even apply to friends. This also applies to like closer relationships that I've had. Well, specifically one, but you know, it's not fair to you that you have to go through something like that. So I urge you to talk with your friends about this, you know? And on the note of relationships, I'm not gonna be super negative about it, but I've always thought that relationships really should be just like, oh, we're still friends, we're just slightly closer than other friends. You know what I mean? Because I get the feeling that relationships obviously are like completely different to such a thing, right? Like you guys are spending more time with each other. You're probably maybe even living in the same house, or you might be doing things just by yourselves that doesn't involve anybody else, you know. But you know, it's kind of like relationships are really something special, where you find, not only is it like friendships where you find that bond with somebody and you can share with them, you can enjoy stuff with them, you can cry with them, whatever the case may be, but it's also just the fact that like you guys are able to really connect to the point that you feel like you want to spend your lives together, you know, and that's honestly really beautiful. So honestly, relationships are really great, but it shouldn't undermine the fact that when you're in a relationship, you should ignore all bonds that you've made. Because I've known plenty of friends who, like, the moment they got into their relationships, they just forgot who their friends were, right? And then as a person who was just standing by on the sidelines, I have to see these friendships get ruined passively, you know, because this person spent all their time and effort on making this relationship happen, right? Or whatever the case may be. And sure, it may work, but at the cost of like some of your friends, maybe just one, but they were really close, or it could be all of them, you know? And that's not good, in my opinion, obviously, right? I feel like that's an opinion that's shared by many, that it really sucks that when people get into relationships, they end up losing a lot of their friends, which should never be the case, you know? I mean, me personally, I don't really think I could part with any of my friends if my significant other ever had a problem with them, especially for one singular person, you know? Like, if I were to have that opinion, sure, maybe I could part with every single person I've ever met, and that'd be horrible. But no matter what, there is one friend that I've made that the friendship that we share and the bond that we have just cannot be severed, you know? Maybe two, actually. Now that I think about it, maybe it could be two. But it's like the bonds that I've made with like these new friends of mine, right? Or not new friends, but they've, you know, just the friends that I have is something extremely special that cannot be taken away from me. And that's why I think that when you are in a relationship, you should absolutely have a compromise where it's like, hey, listen, I have these friends, I really like who they are, right? And I don't ever want to like have to get rid of them, you know? And if your significant other can't handle such a declaration of intent, then, well, me personally, I just could not have that, because my friends have been nothing but kind to me. They've helped uplift me. That friend that I share a close bond with that I mentioned earlier, maybe the two, they've helped me through some of the worst things that I've gone through in my life. And I hate to say it, sometimes even more than my own family. Although, to be fair, that's definitely my own fault, because I don't say anything to my family, which is horrifying. I'm sorry, mom, dad, brother. I love you all, but sometimes I just keep things to myself. But the bonds that I have with these friends is just something that can't be severed. It will never be severed. Alright, I'm gonna have to cut that. There was a damn truck driving by. I had to close my window. But what was I saying? Yes. So it's just I think the relationships that I have like now, right? Or the friendships, right? No relationship, not yet. Maybe. But the friendships that I have, it's just they've molded me into a person that I can be somewhat proud of, at least, right? But you know, like, I believe in them, they believe in me, and that's something that's like not not really something I can say for like a lot of people that I've met, but now it's changed, you know? Now it's something that, like, you know, I have people depending on me, and that's like very important to me, you know? That's why I still live the way that I do, even if it could hurt me. It's like there are these people that I've become friends with where it's like no matter what, I will stay their friend because they're they're people that are extremely important to me, and that's never gonna change, right? And I don't know how I like am to them, but to me it doesn't matter because sometimes all someone really needs is just someone to listen to them. You know what I mean? That whole, like, I understand. The thing I said about being used is a really bad thing for sure, right? You should never settle for somebody that is just going to use you to like dump all their problems on you or ask you for a bunch of favors and then never like have the time for you. But I will say that, you know, sometimes all someone really needs is just someone to listen to them, not even say anything, you know? And someone close to me taught me that. So, you know, thanks to them. But, you know, maybe it's something I already knew in my head. I just never chose to listen, right? But, yeah, it's just friendships and relationships can be complicated. I mean, one good thing I like to say about my friends that I have now is like, we're very much the type of friends that like, I can go days, weeks, whatever, without talking to them. And I can go days and weeks where I finally decide to talk to them and we talk like business as usual, you know? It's just nothing's changed. It's something special. I mean, that close friend that I mentioned earlier, the one that I would never give up no matter what the future may entail. I mean, I sometimes go like a month. I think the longest time we went not talking with each other was 4 months. And when we talked again, it's just like we talked like it was nothing happened. It's like, oh hey, you know. There was a friend that I saw that I went to go to her college, who I technically haven't seen since high school because I went to go see her volleyball match, but that was like in 2017, and then in 2022 I don't even message her for like 5 years. I probably messaged her 3 times within a 5-year span. I messaged her saying, hey, are you I see you're close by, you want to hang out again? She's like, sure. And then when we hang out, we're just talking a whole bunch of nothing. We're not even freaking out about the fact like, oh my god, it's been 5 years, you know? It's like, no, we're friends, we're hanging out with each other, and that's it, you know? It was just business as usual. So I really like the fact that I have friend groups that are exactly like that, you know? I'm lucky that I have friend groups that I can go days or months without and just talk to them again like nothing's happened. So I do appreciate having them as those types of friends. But you know, so the bottom line is like when you have like your friends or your relationships with your significant other, it's really important to understand that like you should always try to keep that bond and always like understand that it's never about always one side giving and the other side taking. It's like a mutual agreement that both of you will be there for each other, even if it's not always shown, you know? Like, for me, I keep telling all my friends, like, I want you to come to me with your problems whenever you're feeling like something is up, you know? Because I know in their minds that I could do the same, you know? I may not do it often, but if I have to, I at least have that option to rely on. But it's just something that is really special to me, that I can just talk to my friends whenever, and we're all gonna still stay friends, even if like we may be across the earth doing doing things like ourselves and not really interacting with each other. By the end of it, we're all gonna meet up again, play a fun game of whatever, you know, and just relax with each other. And I'm happy that that's still the case, like even today. Like, sure, I may not have talked to some of my more closer friends in a long time, but at the end of the day, I know for a fact that we're still friends. So that's about all I have to say. I think my rambling has gone on a little too long. I really don't know how long these videos plan to go on sometimes, because I could just be talking about something. I know next time's topic is probably going to be worse in terms of time, because I'm going to keep talking and I am not going to stop. And who knows, I might even have a guest. Maybe not, who knows. And by guest, I mean I'm going to talk to them so that it's easier, and then they can give their opinion or questions, and then I keep talking, and then the video ends up being 2 hours long, who knows. But anyways, that's all I have to say. I'm happy you're all here to listen to me completely go off the rails sometimes, but yeah, I'm happy to be here to ramble off about random topics for you guys. So episode 1 down the books, friendships and relationships. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and hope you guys stay safe. Fare thee well.